Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Whisking Away with Diana J. I'm Diana, and today we are going to be whipping up delicious carrot nut bread, or carrot loaf, it's called. Either or. This recipe came about. I wanted to whip up something super quick because I had a guest come over and I had these ingredients in my fridge. I whipped them all together and I said, bam, another winner. So you know I had to share it with you guys. Now this carrot bread or loaf. Ingredients are super simple. I'm pretty sure you have them in your fridge and in your cupboard, so why don't you get them all out, get your aprons on, and let's get baking. Come on guys, let's get at it. So let's get started. So first I have a stick of butter, softened to room temperature. It's equivalent to about a half a cup. And then I have a quarter of a cup of brown sugar, I'm gonna put right in there, and 3/4 of a cup of white granulated sugar. Put that in there also. Just to let you know, all the measurements will be listed below in the description box. All you have to do is just tap the title of this video and you'll see the recipe and all the measurements there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cream this together for a couple of seconds. If you do not have a mixer, a hand mixer or a regular mixer, you can always use a whisk and just cream it together quickly for about 60 seconds because you want to make sure the butter and the sugar is incorporated nice and well. So I'm just going to cream this for a couple of seconds with my mixer on low. Next, I'm gonna add my eggs. Now we're gonna crack our eggs in a separate bowl. We wouldn't want that to roll off and fall now, would we? I'm gonna crack my egg in a separate bowl. Just in case I get a bad egg, it will not go into my batter. So, 1 egg. Awesome. Also gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna cream this together. Now I'm gonna add my flour. I have a cup and 3/4. Wait, I have 1 3/4 of a cup. I have 1 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm just gonna dump that right in there. I'm also gonna add my spices directly in here. No need to sift anything, you could just dump it right in here. So for my spices, I have a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger, ground ginger, and nutmeg, and I also have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just gonna dump that right in there. And I'm also gonna add in a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. Dump that right in there. Get my mixer. This is very important. You do not want to over mix your batter. I'm literally with my mixer, I'm going to mix it for just a couple of seconds. If you are using a whisk at this point, you can use a spatula because trying to mix the whisk, the handheld whisk with the flour, it can get tough and it may get stuck in between. So you could just use a spatula, it'll be much easier. But since I have my mixer, I'm literally going to mix it for just a couple of seconds and try not to get flour all over me. Okay, literally I mixed that for like 7 seconds and you could still see the flour is not incorporated totally. I have 2 cups of grated carrots. At this point, you can add in whatever you like. You could add in walnuts, you could add in raisins, pecans, whatever you like. I'm gonna add about 1/4, maybe 1/8 of a cup of walnuts. I'm gonna put it in a resealable bag. The reason for this is a bit much. I have crushed walnuts. They're not whole, they're crushed. However, I want them a little bit finer. I noticed when I tried to dice it, slice into my carrot loaf or bread, it actually was a little tough with the larger walnuts in there, so I just crushed it a little bit finer. Just take a rolling pin and a resealable bag and just roll over it. All right. Cool beans. I'm gonna dump most of it in here. I'm gonna save a little bit for later. So I'm gonna use my spatula at this point to just basically incorporate the shredded carrots or grated carrots and the walnuts throughout the batter. All right. So as you can see, it's a pretty thick batter, I almost forgot an ingredient. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of milk. So if I use almond milk, but if you have whole milk or I don't know what other kinds of milk, like half, like 1%, those type of milks, I'm not familiar with them, but you can use whatever you have on hand, but I'm just gonna eyeball this. We're gonna mix that together. It just really helps keep the loaf moist. Cool beans, this looks great. So now I'm gonna work on my pan. Okay, so I have a little bit of butter. I'm just gonna grease the sides of my loaf pan. Hence why they call it a loaf, because it's in a loaf pan. But I kind of like carrot nut bread better, but I totally see why they call it a loaf. Okay, it makes sense now. Then I'm gonna take my parchment paper. I just put it flat in there. With the butter being in there, it's gonna help it stick on to the pan. It just makes it easier to come out. I know we have butter in there, but never be too sure. If you do not have parchment paper, it's perfectly fine, but it honestly just makes it easier to come out of the loaf pan. I like to take a little bit of flour, just literally a tad bit of flour, and then I'm gonna put it on the sides. So you just kind of wanna tap it along the sides. All right? Okay. Stop being silly all the time. Never ends with me. All right, so I'm going to pop this bad boy into oven 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. Then my friends, we are going to take it out of the oven. We're going to top it with maple butter and use the remaining crushed walnuts, sprinkle it on top, put it back in the oven for about 7 minutes or so, and then we can take it out and get closer to tasting the yummy goodness of this carrot loaf bread. All right, guys, I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready. Oh. My oven didn't beep yet to let me know that it reached 350 degrees, so I guess I'll just be waiting. In the meantime, taste. Remember when you were a kid? If you had brothers or sisters, that's the oven. I'm in the middle of telling the story. If you had brothers and sisters, in my case, about 10 of us cousins, we used to fight over who would get the spoon, who would get the bowl. I always wanted the spoon. So good. All right. Then to get this in here now. Okay, guys, my carrot nut bread has been in the oven for about 43 minutes. What I have here is a tablespoon of melted butter, and I'm also going to add about 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. If you do not have maple syrup, you can substitute it for honey. I'm just going to whisk that together here, and I am going to brush this all over the top of my carrot bread. I'm gonna sprinkle the remainder of these on top. I'm gonna do is just drizzle the rest of that maple butter right on top. Okay, guys, I'm gonna pop this back into the oven for about 5 to 7 more minutes. The total cook time should be around 48 to 50 minutes. I do not want to go over that. You do not want to overcook this bread because you're going to end up having a dry bread or a loaf. So I'm going to keep my eye on it. Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like when it's all set. I took my loaf out of the oven. It was in there for a total of 50 minutes. What I would normally do is pull it out, and instead of putting it on a tray, I normally would put it on a cooling rack so it could cool for about 30 minutes. However, for the sake of me wanting to taste this ASAP, I'm just gonna put it on my serving tray and slice a piece, and I want you guys to take a look at it. So, this is what I'm gonna do. Look how easy. See that? Look at that. Look how easy it is to take that off and transfer it onto your tray. I have a serrated edge knife. It just makes it much easier to slice into. Oh, look at this, guys. Look at that. Look, look. Can you see it? Can you see it? Because I can see it and smell it. Let's take a little taste. Another one out of the park. Guys, this right here, absolutely delicious. I'm not gonna lie to you. You could taste the spices. I taste the hint of ginger, the cinnamon, the nutmeg. Great tip for moms. This can actually be served as a breakfast. What I normally do with my daughter when I make banana nut bread, I will slice a piece, toast it, and put a little bit of butter, put yogurt on the side with some fruit, and bada bing, bada boom, breakfast. Easy peasy. The thing is, you may think like, oh, it may be equivalent to like a cake. It really isn't, because the ratio of flour to sugar to the fat, the butter, is equivalent to like a breakfast muffin. And you have the carrots and the nut in there, extra nutrients. Thank you guys so much for whisking away with me, Diana. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Thank you so much for stopping by at my channel. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up down below. And if you love this episode and this channel, please share. And I also invite you to subscribe. I'll be posting up a new video every single week. This way, you won't miss a thing. We have fun here. Until next time, guys, bye. Have a good one.